Super Bowl 57 came down to a late game-winning field goal by Kansas City. A lot of history made in this matchup. Pat Mahomes becoming the first player to ever lead the regular season in both passing yards and then win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, on the other side, set Super Bowl quarterback records for most rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. All right, Shannon, where does this Super Bowl rank for you in all-time greatness?
It's up there, Skip. I mean, it's hard. I mean, Skip, this is 57, so there's been a lot of good ones. I mean, you go back to the 70s and the Steelers and the Cowboys. Yep. Those came down to the wire. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Tom Brady winning one in overtime against the Atlanta Falcons. Yep. But I think the thing, Skip, is the suspense. It's the back and forth. And no matter what the sport, people like scoring. I mean, both teams scored over 35 points. You're hanging on the edge of your seat. I mean, it looks like the Eagles are going to blow them out of the building in the first half. It seems like they're going up and down the field. Then all of a sudden they get to halftime. Rihanna performed. Congratulations, Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, the second child. And so maybe that, Skip, when you got the momentum, Skip, you really don't want halftime to come. You really don't, Skip. You're like, hey, let's just keep this thing going. Let's go ahead and put
29 minutes.
Yes, 29 minutes. They got to get the stage set up.
Yep.
The performer got to perform. They got to break it all down.
They do.
That's a long time. So guess what? You get in there, you take your pads off, Skip. Mm-hmm. You eating orange slices, some bananas, apples. You changing your undershirt. Maybe you get a different jersey.
Yep.
So it's so different than what you're used to. But the game was, and Skip, like you said, the officials really didn't get involved. I mean, the Dominican Sue, Skip, that was a penalty. The jumping offside by Frank Clark, that was a penalty.
Yep.
You get both teams score at least 35 points, 9 touchdowns, 750 yards of total offense, the back and forth. Chiefs erase a 10-point lead. The youngest starting quarterback, there's so many storylines. Black quarterback starting on both sides.
Yep.
The youngest starting quarterbacks, 57 years and 337 days. Mm-hmm. Most rushing yards by a quarterback. Fewest kickoff yards by Kansas City didn't have no yards on the kickoff. And what Mahomes were able to do, the previous 9 MVPs to reach the Super Bowl, all lost. The 6 individual pass leader yards to reach the Super Bowl, all lost. The 8 previous teams to win the coin toss, all lost. Skip, it was good. I mean, where it ranks is the top 5. New England and Atlanta. Obviously, New England and Seattle, Skip, is up there.
It is.
I would put this one up there. I'll put some of the Steelers, Cowboys. I like us in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yes, for me, I'm going to say it's at least top 10. I would have to go back and really look. I mean, I remember a lot of Super Bowls. But, yes, Skip, them coming down. Oh, Oakland and Minnesota. Old man Willie Brown picking it off, Skip, and running up the sideline, eyes wide, the camera panning, and his eyes wide open. He's glancing over there.
Yep.
But, Skip, this was a great one. This was a great one.
It was. It was riveting. I still haven't quite recovered from it because it just jerked me all around. But it was marred, in my point of view, not in yours, but in my point of view, it was marred by a fumble that turned into a scoop and score and absolutely turned the game back on its head.
Yeah. It
was marred by Quez Watkins' drop of a Jalen Hurts throw that hit him right in the hands and could have really changed the scope and the impact of the game. And then it was marred by what I believe was a bad call at the end of the game that you think was the correct call. Mm-hmm. But I got 3 marred. And by the way, I'll throw this in also. I was disappointed for everybody's sake that the field was so slippery. It got a little hard to watch after a while, and the Eagles for sure were going to the 3/4-inch cleats right away and just dumping their half-inch.
Yeah, the tempo bottoms are what we used to call speed TDs, Skip.
Yep.
Man, the turf needs to be ideal in order for you to play with that. So if any condensation...
There was some, and maybe the paint was a little slippery where they painted because they kept slipping on the paint. Because
they said they had been growing that grass for a couple of years. They spent all this money on this grass. Obviously, Skip, when you're indoors, you bring it out in sheets.
Yep.
It's just... Yeah, you hate that, Skip, but I don't really know. Skip, I don't really know what to... Unless you're going to be... Skip, they don't like field turf. Obviously, there's no more AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Does anybody have natural grass? Because they don't use that stadium just for football.
All right.
In order to pay it off, Skip, you got to have concerts. You got to have college football games and rodeos and
that was the problem.
Pools.
I'm still going to elevate this game to 5th on my all-time Super Bowl list.
Thanks to hear you talk.
I cannot get past Brady coming back from 24-14 down against the Legion of Boom.
Is that one for you?
It's number one because of the electrifying flipped ending where the whole script got flipped on its head at the last second. I think Brady lost, and then Malcolm Butler.
Brady won. Yeah.
Wait, they couldn't score from the 1 yard line? Wait, he picked it off. It took me about 2-3 minutes to realize, wait, he intercepted the ball at the goal line.
Yeah. You can make a case, Skip, that every game that's been played in this building has been.
That was it. This is right here. Same thing, right? And it was.
Remember the 2007?
The first D-Light, yeah.
And remember the Pittsburgh?
It was something. Okay.
Wasn't Pittsburgh?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yes,
Pittsburgh,
it was.
Arizona played here?
In the last second throw. Yep.
Was they played in the stadium?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm pretty sure
That'd been a home Super Bowl, Skip.
Okay, so I got Brady throwing for 124 and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to come back. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is the one that everybody forgets. Joe Montana, 4-0 in Super Bowls. It's Super Bowl 23 with 34 seconds left. I was there in Miami. He hits not Jerry Rice. He hit the other receiver, John Taylor, with a 10-yard touchdown pass to end the game, 20-16.
Excellent.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so that's number two on my list. Number three is the first Eli Super Bowl when Brady goes 80 yards for a touchdown, and then Eli pulls off the greatest escape by an immobile quarterback ever. He almost gets sacked 3 times, and then closes his eyes, actually put his hand over his eyes, and threw it as far as he could, and it sticks in David Tyree's helmet.
Right.
Well, you don't talk about electrifying finish, and then he hits Plaxico with what became sort of the walk-off 17-14. That's number 3. And then number 4, I know it was slow death, but Brady come back from 28-3 down, 246-yard passing in the fourth quarter in overtime. There wasn't one throw that was the throw, although Edelman's catch off the carpet, that was the play of the game.
That would have ended if he intercepted that ball. It ended the game.
That would end it. But the point was that it was slow death for Atlanta because you just sat back and you could just see them falling in slow motion, and they lost in overtime.
What about Washington, Miami? John Riggins off the right side for the game.
I was there for that one, and he bolted. he burst it wide open.
It's been some really good Super Bowls, Skip. I know there was a time that they weren't good for about 14 years. They weren't good because the NFC was blowing the AFC out. But there have been some really good Super Bowls.
My personal favorite, because it was the greatest collection of Hall of Fame talent I've ever seen on one field, was Super Bowl 13, Dallas-Pittsburgh.
At Tulane Stadium?
But no, it was at Miami. It was the Orange Bowl.
Okay, Orange Bowl.
And the point was, my Cowboys fell behind 35-20. Let's see, because it went to 31-24. So it was 35-24, and Roger Staubach scored a late touchdown to make it 35-31. So it wasn't that close. It was just a great, like a lot of big playmaking.
And the Steelers that wasn't the one that Jackie Smith dropped the touchdown.
It was. Jackie Smith dropped the touchdown. and there was a call on Benny Barnes that should not have been called.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're never going to find that many Hall of Famers on the field at one time again, I guarantee you.
Never again.
Because they had 10 on the Steelers side.
They had 10. The great Mel Blunt.
So many great choices, guys. There have been a lot of epic Super Bowls. One point about that field in Arizona, it's super unique, gentlemen. It actually sits on a tray, and they slide the whole thing out of the stadium to get in the sun, and then slide it back in for game days and events. It's the only one in the league like it.
Technology, man.
All right. How much credit, guys, do you think Andy Reid should be getting for the Chiefs' big victory last night? Skip and Shannon break it down when we come back here on Undisputed.